Thank you for joining in on another conversation on Miss Pursuit's podcast. Kim Bryant from Alabama joins me for this conversation about mentoring, being a part of women's groups, how she has gotten involved in so many hunts all over the nation and world. And let's hear what she's got going on for this season. Thank you all for joining in another podcast episode. Today, Kim Bryant from Alabama is hanging out with us, and she is a contributor for Miss Pursuit and a whole bunch of other things that you're going to find out today. Kim, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, let's jump right into this because we are both two Southern gals getting together and talking. I do not have my sweet tea. I have my cup of coffee because it's still morning. But this is going to be a fun conversation with two Southern accents, just dishing it out and talking hunting. And I think that that's my most favorite thing to do. So I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I agree.
Well, tell me a little bit about how you got started in the outdoors.
Well, actually, it has just been, I grew up in the outdoors. I mean, it's been instilled in me since I was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
My family, we did everything outdoors. We, went to the creek and we hung out with our friends in the backyard, playing softball and volleyball and camping and fishing and traveling. Like, it's just something I've always done my whole entire life. So it's been a huge part of my life, my entire life.
Yeah, I probably am right along the same lines. I grew up fishing in the creeks of Alabama and wading through and skinny dipping. And I mean, that was just how we grew up, was catfishing in a pond with hot dogs. Like, it wasn't anything fancy. It was just what we did.
Yes. And I still, at my home in Walker County, that's where I grew up, and there's a catfish pond across the road, and that's exactly what we still do now is go over there and catch catfish with hot dogs. So,
it was really whatever we had left over from the potluck that we probably had with the family, and you just put anything on a line and you either caught a catfish or a snapping turtle. It was one of the two.
Right.
You just hoped that it was a catfish and not a snapping turtle.
Yes, exactly.
The snapping turtles were a little more difficult to remove.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't want to get your fingers too close.
No. Now, did you notice growing up, did you start out fishing and then slip into hunting, or when did it change over or add to?
My dad always is, like I said, as long as I can remember, my dad always hunted, but he hunted with dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a total different hunt that I do today.
Yes.
But yeah, so we were always, he was always hunting with the dogs and running the dogs, chasing deer, and then we were always it seems like the dogs always ran somewhere. So, we were getting calls. Okay, we found your dog. And so it just started. So it started like that. Like, and that's not, growing up, like I was, I can remember, I didn't know if I was really interested in hunting deer that way because, back then it was, brown and down and it didn't matter,
right.
If you say, you had to be ready, and it was just fast paced and adrenaline, and so we would just tag along, my brother and sister, and I would just tag along with Dad, and it's just, I don't know, like it's just kind of something that we just did. It was a natural thing,
Mm-hmm.
Just him taking us along, and then Fishing was kind of, growing up was boring. I mean, I think about my girls because my girls do not like to fish at all. But they think it's the most boring thing, especially if you're not catching. And so we would, so it really wasn't I wasn't like a huge, we would go fish and, no big deal.
Right.
And probably, I can remember being little, and we went on a deep sea fishing trip, and I was probably 4 or 5, and my dad caught a shark. And my mom caught like this huge mackerel, and here I am, little, and I can remember being on that huge boat and those huge fish, and I'm like, now this is fun. And so I'm like, I guess it's just, I just grew into it, like both fishing and hunting has just been a way of life, a part of my life. And then we ended up joining hunting clubs, and then it was a total different hunting where you sit in the shooting house, and it wasn't dog hunting and running and gunning. It wasn't that. It was sitting in a shooting house and learning patience. And so that's how I've transitioned to the hunting that I do today.
Yeah, it's different. It's different for everybody. I have. My daughter loves to fish, absolutely loves to fish. My son doesn't. And we have done different types of fishing. We have taken them to, the edge of a lake. We've taken them on the water. We've taken them wade fishing. We've done a lot of different ways of fishing, and it's just not his thing. But put him out in a tree stand with a rifle or a crossbow, and he is on point.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And from what you said, I probably I didn't grow up hunting, but we both grew up in the time and era of, the regulations being different on deer hunting, and they had to change them over time to manage it better. But I remember people coming in to our town with tons of deer all the time. And there were just no regulations on it back then. And they noticed pretty quickly, we need to put some things back in order to manage the population a little bit better, or we're not going to have deer. So
exactly. Right.
It has been a little bit different. It's been different, evolving over time and figuring out what ways best that you like to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, do you strictly, because I follow you and I see fishing, deer hunting, do you waterfowl?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I'm new at the waterfowl bird hunting thing. Actually, I had just last year went on my very first duck hunt,
right?
And it was so much fun. It was such a learning experience. And then I kind of like, oh yes, I kind of like this bird game thing, like. And then, so then last year I would say last season was my season for the birds. That's what I say, because I duck hunted, I pheasant hunted, and then I actually I killed my very first turkey last season.
Oh my goodness, I'm so jealous.
Yes, so
it was the year of the bird.
It was the year of the birds for me. Yes. And actually, like this come up season, I've got more duck hunting trips planned and booked, and so I'm very excited. I'm going to get to go to Arkansas.
Fun!
And I'm going to duck hunt as well as do upland bird hunting. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
That's one thing I haven't done. I have not done upland bird hunting. Like you, duck hunting was new for me last year, and it's 100% different. Now, we're not in a hunting club or anything like that, so I know that there are social aspects to deer hunting when you're in something that's organized that you can have a camaraderie with people, but it's still, when you're out in the field, it's not as social as bird hunting.
Yes, absolutely. That is exactly what I said. Because I have deer hunting, I take my girls, of course, and one of them sit with me. But you're basically like hunting by yourself all the time. And
right.
so when I went to dove hunt and duck hunt and pheasant hunt, yes, that camaraderie and that, standing in the timbers, when you have, your hunting buddies right here beside you, like that was so cool to me. I actually kidding. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hunt by myself again or not. Because that was just another, totally different, but so much fun as well because you get to share that excitement. The excitement when, the ducks come flying in and everybody's shooting and, it's just teamwork. That's what I like. It was teamwork.
Mm-hmm. It is. It definitely is. And I think that that's kind of what I got as well. It's not comparable. It's not comparable at all. It's a totally different style of hunting, and it doesn't take away from your love of the other types. It's just 100% different. And there's the same drive. There's the same excitement. There's the same, but you're just sharing it. And that, I think, from a social aspect, it is a great way of getting into hunting because of that. You kind of have backup. You have that support. You have that excitement going into it. You can ask the questions. You can. It is more of a group effort, and so the pressure of just one single person being you is a little less than it is when you're all together. And I think that that's a great way to get started in hunting.
I agree 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Man, that you had a great year last year. We did.
I hunted more. Yes, I hunted more this past season than I have my entire life.
Yep. I think that's how we were too. We got into goose hunting. If you ever get a chance to go on a snow goose conservation hunt, do it. It is so much fun because there are no limits. So you just have to make sure you're shooting the right birds. There's no you can't shoot Canada geese. You have to make sure you're shooting the right birds for that conservation hunt, but you can shoot as many as you can have come in. And people say a lot of things about goose meat. I love it. And I think how you cook it, just like anything else, makes it what it is. But I think that it's a great way to fill your freezer with a little extra lean red meat especially if your deer season isn't as great and you're doing the job of conservation and you're helping out the Canadian tundras. And there's just a whole bunch of positives that go with it. So if you get a chance, definitely say yes.
Okay. All right. Absolutely. Yeah. Cause I am up, to try just about any kind, anything, I love trying to experience the new hunts, the new animals to go after. So absolutely.
Yeah.
I've heard it was so much fun. And I've also heard that, that it was really good.
Yes.
So.
It surprised me, and it still has that social aspect of it. You can lay down in the fields, or they have dugout blinds that you can get down into. And it was just a great time. I was the only girl on our hunt, and it was, of course, there are no bathrooms for miles. And so you have to figure that out. And everybody was a gentleman and treated me with respect in that, but the camaraderie of it is a lot of fun. It reminded me a lot of duck hunting.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You've got the calls, you've got the decoys, you've got it reminded me a lot of duck hunting.
Yes. There's just something about, when you're there and they're calling, and I would get in awe. Like I would, they would be calling and I was supposed to be watching the sky for birds, and I was just like mesmerized about how, they're calling. So I loved it. It was so fun.
There's always something new out there to learn, and that's the best part of hunting. There's always something new to learn. And I think it gives people that get bored very easily something to keep going for. You can't.
Absolutely.
You can't get bored with hunting. you can sit and you can learn patience. There's always things that you can be learning as you're waiting, but it's definitely a fun thing to get started into. And you are the Wildlife Women of Alabama. You're the chapter leader.
I'm the chapter leader.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so what we do is we inspire, educate women to get outdoors. And so I'm the chapter leader for Walker County and Tuscaloosa County.
Okay.
And so I try to host events around both areas, whether it's hog hunts or shooting on the range or, just different events to get ladies and young, like teenage girls, young girls together because, like you mentioned, like you were the only girl, on the big hunt. I had been the only girl on mini hunts. And so for a lot, if you're starting out or you're unsure, it's a little intimidating to be the only girl for the guys. Yeah. And so, so that's what we try to do. I try to get an event together. So it's just girls. So, the girls don't have to be intimidated to ask questions or if they don't know something or they've never hunted before. And then, we teach them, we educate them and so, and that's basically it in a nutshell.
Yeah. It's a way that you don't feel uneasy about asking a question that might to you seem dumb, but everybody around you would love to hear the answer to. And it's a safe place to do that. And whereas like me, I probably would have been fairly quiet and observant being the only girl learning and all of that, but I would be hesitant asking questions with an all male group.
Right. And then also, there are tons of ladies who want to hunt but don't know how or how do you get connected or where do I go to hunt or who can I go hunt with? And so when we host events, then that opens the door for opportunities for ladies to go on a all ladies hunt. Because otherwise they may not have access to a hunting club or, they don't know how to hunt public land. Like personally, I've never hunted public land, so I would not even know how to begin.
Right.
And that's why, also, that's one reason why I love, these women groups is because you get the opportunity to go places or hunt animals you've never hunted before. And
right.
So that's how I got to go on to Mississippi to hunt my ducks. Because it was it was a group. I got involved with the group. So
it connects women together in more ways than one. You've got a group of women supporting each other that are like-minded, who are excited about the same things. And then it pushes you into situations that you wouldn't, like you said, otherwise have opportunity for.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what Miss Pursuit is doing as well, which is probably why you're a part of it, because it almost like this big umbrella, and we're feeding into our communities in ways where we're supporting each other and creating it's a big world out there, but you're kind of pulling it in closer and tighter knit to be able to reach out and connect with other women that like the same things we like.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. That's one reason why I did connect with Miss Pursuit, because it was exactly that. And I think it's important. I think it's important for, women. I think it's important, like for my daughters, to get connected and with other like-minded, girls and that enjoy the same things we do. So
yeah. And it's not like we're sitting here Miss Pursuit or us individually, it's not like we're sitting here going boo with men. I mean, without the men in my life, I wouldn't be hunting. And so it's
absolutely
important to distinguish the fact that these kind of groups that are women only, they're there to inspire each other and to support each other, not to seclude ourselves from the group. It's more so to create opportunities of mentorship and to push that camaraderie, but also create, like we said earlier, that safe place to be able to ask questions. If a guy showed up to an all-girl event, do you think he would feel comfortable asking questions if he didn't know them? Probably not.
Right. Probably. You're right. Probably not. And that is one thing. And I'm so glad you said that, because that is exactly, we're not trying to isolate ourselves or say, like you just said, we don't want to hang with the guys. I've got some amazing, guys in my life who have mentored me and who have taught me everything that I know. And I would have actually not killed my turkey if it had not been for the guys that I was, that had, taught me how to call, and,
right.
taught me how to read a map.
Exactly.
So, so no, I'm not this, and I think, cause I wouldn't, if it wasn't for the guys, I wouldn't know as much as I do now.
Agreed.
It's just a safe place for the ladies.
Yeah. Guys have their groups as well, so that it creates an environment where they can learn and where they can hang out with each other and learn from each other, because we all learn differently. We all do things differently. And I can probably learn from everybody, but it's nice to be able to sit back and watch another woman hunt or hear the stories of how she hunts, how she does it, in order to make my life easier going into it. I'd rather learn from someone saying, hey, this did not work.
Right.
This is why. And,
exactly.
And I feel like I can, not that I discredit my husband or any of the men that I've hunted with or learned from. It's more so, hey, you are built a lot like me. You have the same mindset as me. And how did you do this? And I think that can cross those boundaries of male and female, but a lot of times it's a little bit easier to talk to a woman to hear these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I talked to somebody one time because I was thinking, okay, if I went with a group of girls, or if I went with another woman, or if I just went on an elk hunt or a bear hunt, one of those long hunts where you're going to be out for a week and a half, 2 weeks. Well, there are things that happen to a woman's body that do not happen for a man. And I could not ask a guy, okay, what would you do if I was on my period, or if somebody came with me had started? Like, that's just not a conversation that I would like to have with a guy. Not, they'd probably be fine, and they might have answers because they have gone with women, but they might not have. And so I actually asked that question to a lady one time. I was like, hey, what do women do out there? And it is very specific, and it can be very dangerous. And I had no idea. I kind of thought about these things. And, when you're in bear country and when there are predators around you, what do you do? And you have to use very specific things. You have to be able to bury things and move on. You can't carry things with you, and because it's dangerous. And so learning and hearing all these things, I was going, these are the conversations that need to be had. These are those questions that you have that you go, okay, what do you do? And there's usually a simple answer to it, but it's nice to be able to have that conversation with another woman.
Yes, I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. And it's different from tree stand East Coast hunting to West Coast hunting, where you're moving around and sleeping in the woods and backpacking throughout. There are just a lot of tricks of the trade that we've got to figure out. And it's just nice to have those conversations with ease.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know if you'd have this conversation on somebody else's podcast. Like, you don't hear about these sometimes on, Meat Eater and
you're right.
But it's important to hear, and it's important to not shy away from them, because I'm sure other women have the same kind of questions. So
they do. And actually, growing up, I mean, it was like a myth. Like, is that really, is that really a thing? Because, in Alabama, we don't really have predators.
Right, right.
And they would, and the question, I mean, I've had women ask me the same thing, like, what do you do? Or, what do you do if you have to go to the bathroom and you are, on a hunt with a guide or whatever?
Right.
I mean, like in Africa, when I was in Africa, I was the only girl, and I was, I had to go to the bathroom, and so I'm like, y'all gonna have to go down there. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah. And most of the time, everybody is so respectful, and so it's not that big of a deal, but it's nice to hear, hey, all you have to do is ask. All you have to do is say, hey, I need to do this, and not make a big deal, not be embarrassed. Not everybody does it. Everybody has to go to the bathroom. It's just, it's a little bit different for women. And, and you just get it done and get back to work just like anybody else. Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
But it is true. I've had the question, hey, what if you're in a tree stand all day? Mm-hmm. And what if you are hunting all day and you're not going in? What if you're hunting public land and you don't feel comfortable? Can you carry a pistol where you're going? And there are rules in different states on being able to do that or not. And and these are conversations that everybody can have, and they're important to have. We can carry here in Tennessee while you're on public land hunting. So if I'm bow hunting on public land, I have my bow and I have my pistol, because it's I like to carry my pistol if I'm going early in the morning, or if I'm going to be there after dark at night and you aren't the only one out there. It just gives me a little sense of safety.
Protection.
Yeah, of security.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah.
But I know there are other places you can't do that.
That is right. I hunted in Missouri, and it was bow season, and you could not, you couldn't. And we were there. I was, I was out in a tree stand from daylight until dark.
Yep. Yep. And it's what snacks do you take? Now, snacks go clear across the board. If you talk snacks up in a tree stand or in a hunting house or wherever you're going, snacks are important. I don't think people, and I think that non-hunters love snacks, but hunters, we love our snacks. And here in Tennessee, I've spoken about it a couple times, but here in Tennessee, your oatmeal cream pies, like Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies during deer season, are the good luck charm. I'm dead serious.
Well, mine and my youngest daughter Isabella, our good luck charm is a honey bun.
Yeah. I've heard that too. Actually, I've heard that from a couple of Alabama hunters.
Really?
Yes. So maybe each state, it'd be neat to figure out if each state had different good luck charms. But duck hunting, I don't take. Duck hunting, I take my watermelon Sour Patch. A big bag. And those are
really good.
I share them. They're good luck. Some people take the Dots pretzels. Have you ever had Dots pretzels?
I have not.
They're very, very good. I have only been able to find them certain places, but I mean, we could go on and on about food, but whether you're East Coast hunting or West Coast hunting, food is a constant conversation between hunters because you're either packing it in and you've got to be careful on your weight and your ounces even on what you're packing in, but you still have to get your calories. And, even East Coast hunting, we've got our things that we have. So food is a common denominator out on a hunt for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It is.
And yes. So that's what those girls that hunted with, and they had snacks like galore, and they were like, I didn't have to worry about really taking snacks because they had plenty.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Well, what are some of your favorite hunts that you've been on?
My favorite hunt, I would have to say, starting from the last was the turkey hunt. Yeah, that turkey hunt. Like I said, I've never hunted turkey as hard as I hunted this past season, and it was thankful for the COVID, because that is the reason why I was getting to spend the whole entire turkey season in the woods.
Yeah.
But I learned so much, and that's one of my most exciting hunts. I hunted for the most part by myself, so I learned a lot. I learned new terrain, the new areas in our hunt club. I learned how to read the hunts. I love the onyx hunt. Onyx, yes. I love that. That was a lifesaver. I learned how to read the map. And then I learned how to call. And talking about a guy, I had a great mentor guy that taught me how to call. So I learned how to call, and I would get so close, and one time I was like 50 yards, and I had like four some jakes and then a huge two huge gobblers across the creek, and I could not get to them, and so it was such a high, such a low, of a hunt, and then finally I had actually chalked it up, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not, it's okay. Like, I've learned so much from this season, and I've got so close, and I'm just, it's okay if I don't get a turkey. Like, I was okay with it. And one of the guys in the hunt club the last day, he said, Kim, you have been hunting so hard, like you deserve a turkey. He said, let me take you. Go with me, and let's see if we can't get you on a gobbler. And so I'd already been scouting all this whole time, so I knew where the turkey were.
Right.
And so he was like, I'll just go with you. You know where they're at, and we'll get you a turkey. Well, he had not even hunted, but just a couple of times. And so I was, I felt kind of bad, because I'm like, this is the last day of the season. He's like, no, I want to get you a turkey.
Aww.
And so we went and didn't hear a single bird. I'm talking not a bird. And then we hunted and almost mid-morning. Well, season, was ended at 12 o'clock. And so it was about 8 o'clock, I guess. And he was like, we got a call from another guy, and he was like, get over here on this side. I'm looking at a gobbler right now. Well, the hunting club is like 7,000 acres. So it wasn't like you could just jump in the side by side, so we had to, make our way pretty quick to get to the area he was in. And when we got there, the turkey was not gobbling anymore. And so
oh my
we were
goodness.
like, you know what? It's all right, So we just sat down on a tree, and back to back on this tree, and he had started telling me about how his dad had passed away, and how much his dad loved turkey hunting. And we were just telling stories about, his name was Mr. Leroy, about how much we loved Leroy, and and how much he loved turkey hunting and all. And that, Chris, the guy I was hunting with, he had actually not hunted as much since his daddy had passed away, because he dismissed it.
Right.
And, he just couldn't get that fire again. And so we both, we were just sitting there talking, and we looked at each other and we're like, okay, 30 more minutes because it's, let's give ourselves 30 more minutes because we've not heard anything. And it's, been a great hunt.
Right.
And the 30 minutes passed. We stood up, took a couple steps, and a turkey gobbled.
No.
And he looks at me. Yes. And he looks at me and he says, do you want to go after him? And I'm like, heck
yes.
We're going after him. And so we took a couple of more steps, literally like 2 steps, and a gobble rang out, and it was just right here on top of us. It was so close that I literally just bent down.
Right.
Like it shocked me so much. I just squatted down, and he was like, we've got to make it to that dead tree. And so we were crawling to this dead tree, trying to get set up. And, we got we get set up, and he's sitting right beside me, and against this dead tree, and this tree, we're leaning against this dead tree, and it started cracking. and he's like, oh Lord, please don't let this tree fall. Please don't let this tree fall. And the turkey is just gobbling. It starts gobbling. It's just gobbling itself. And he's like 25 yards away. And he was like, Kim, you ready? And he said, I'm gonna call. I'm just going to call one time. And he called one time, the turkey gobbled, and then it just started coming. And I had my gun up, and, and I'm like, my heart pounding 90 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, I see it. And he said, I can't see it. And I said, well, I see it right there. And he said, I can't see it. So he said, you got a shot, shoot.
Right.
And so I just shot. And the turkey dropped when I shot, and I was so excited. Like, I jumped up and I ran over there because everybody had told me, once you shoot one, run to it so it doesn't get up and flop off.
Right.
Flop away. And so all I could think about was, I've got to get on that turkey. I've got to get on that turkey. And so I jumped up and ran, and I turned around, I get to the turkey, and he is just dying laughing. He said, you look like you were sitting on springs. He said, you jumped up. He said, I promise he's down. And I'm like, I was not letting that thing go.
No, you were.
And yes, and I ended up like, it was a big bird. It was like 3 years old.
Wow.
3.5 years old. Had like a 12-inch beard, over 1-inch spurs. Like, it was.
That was a monster.
Yes, it was an awesome hunt. And then I was so excited. Like I said, I was so excited. Like, I was just like, I had never been that excited over taking an animal in my life. Like, I really. And I was jumping and up and down and high-fiving him and almost knocked him down. I was so excited. And it was really sweet. And it was like, going back to what we were talking about, the being, chapter
yes.
ladies, grapes and all that. Like, that moment, that hunting experience, was just such a special bond now that he and I share.
Right.
And we were sitting on that, against that tree, reminiscing about his daddy and the love of his hunting and how his daddy lived a turkey hunt. And I say there's no doubt Mr. Leroy sent that bird my way, because it was like the last day,
the last hour.
Yeah. And we were actually leaving, and that bird gobbled, one or two birds gobbled. And so, it was a very special moment. And I'm getting him mounted full strut. He's going to go in my living room. Like, I'm proud.
You should be
special. That was a very special hunt. And,
yeah.
And he, Chris, later on that afternoon, he sent me a message, and and it was really special because he's like, he thanked me. He said, "Thank you for now. That was such an exciting hunt. Like, you ignited that fire."
Yes.
And back to hunt, for me to go hunt again. Like, I want to turkey hunt again. And so, that meant more to me than that, than anything.
Right.
So, no, I would have to say yes.
That hunt is your favorite. That's a good one. Turkey is not, it is not a hunt to take lightly. I hunted harder this season for a turkey than I think I've ever hunted anything. And I got nothing. Right. And like you said, with COVID, I mean, Tennessee was crazy with turkey hunters, especially on public land. I'd show up first thing in the morning, still at dark, and there's 6 cars in a parking lot. And I'd have to go to the next spot, and there were 3, and I'd have to go to the next spot. And you just never knew how busy something was going to be. Tennessee took more birds this spring turkey season than, I don't think that they've ever had that many birds taken since putting, limits on and tags on hunting. And it was enough that even next year they've dropped the number of turkeys that you can take. And it's to even it out. It's great management technique. Like I understand it 100%, but that just shows how many hunters were out there this year. And it's great.
Yeah.
Unless you're out there hunting and there are no birds. So I am definitely looking forward to maybe this fall, because our fall turkey season opens up at the same time as archery deer. And, if one or the other crosses my path, I would not hesitate to take a turkey over opening deer on that day.
I do not blame you.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't blame you at all. So maybe you'll get one. That'd be awesome.
I'm hoping so. But it is not a hunt to take lightly. They are the smartest, dumbest birds out there, and they're keen. Their eyesight is amazing, and it's just not, their hearing is amazing. It is not, you can't go in unprepared. That is for sure.
That is absolutely for sure. You cannot. That's probably one of my top, hardest hunts. Absolutely, was the turkey.
Yeah. And I love how you said that about Chris, because this past year I've been hunting we're coming up. This will be year 7. And this past season was the first year that our kids hunted with us. And my son got his first deer. And I have to say, watching them succeed, not just in harvest, but in listening and paying attention, getting a deer a doe blow because they've been found out, having those things happen and learning along the way, and the excitement that they had when things do connect, or when they get to be so close to an animal, it ignites that in me. And
absolutely,
I think that people underestimate, or they think, oh, I can't be a mentor. Oh, I couldn't do that. I don't have enough experience, or I'm just not that into it. Or like you said, something traumatic happened that kind of pulled back the reins a little bit. And I think that mentorship can be seen in so many different ways, that all you have to do is love on somebody, is show them the ropes, is even just as basic as, hey, do you want to come sit with me? You don't even have to bring a gun. You just, if you want to come observe, it changes your view of it, because it's learn, do, teach. And in each one of those aspects of hunting, or in whatever you're doing, you're learning. It affects you and your response and how you receive that. And it's all positive in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And you were talking about just sitting. My mom, she doesn't hunt, but she'll go with me and sit. And and you said the doe's blowing. It was the first time she ever heard a deer blow, and she was like, I didn't even know deer, blew, made that noise.
It is loud when you hear it the first time.
Yes, right. And then my oldest daughter, Alexis, this goes back to the second, I guess, one of my second favorite, hunt was, she got her hunter's license and took a hunter safety course, and she hunted on her very first solo hunt last season and killed a buck.
Oh my goodness!
Yes,
that's amazing.
By herself. And so she it was No, it was. I was so proud of her. I mean, I was ecstatic. That thing could have been a little spot, a doe. Like
Yes.
I was so excited for her that she did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then hunting with my daughters, of course, like being sitting in the stand and while that watching them experience see the deer come on the
Oh,
field
yeah.
and like so it's absolutely those are my favorite moments and memories too, and
Yeah.
just getting to connect and share those special those special moments, because that's something they'll never forget.
No, they won't. Man, I cannot even imagine being you and getting that text or that phone call that she got that buck. I mean, even if it had been a doe, just being alone and solo and doing that, there's such a sense of accomplishment and I don't know, that self-esteem that comes from it, that pride in a good way of look what all of this has come to fruition. And
Right.
that's exciting.
Yes, especially, she went from sitting, the very first deer she ever took, she was sitting on my lap and she shot a doe, so because I've had them, in the woods their whole entire life.
Right.
Their whole entire life. And so going from that to, her texting me, and she was texting me the whole entire hunt, like, Mama, and she was telling us play by play, like, Mama, there's a deer on the field. Oh, there's a spot. Oh, there's a little 6 point.
Mm-hmm.
And, can I shoot? And can I shoot it? I don't know if it's outside the ears, and just, it was a learning process for her too, and then, but yeah, that was pretty cool.
It's I know now with my kids having been out there this past year, they pay attention more in the off season now than ever before. It is, Mama, slow down. Slow down. I think I saw something. Yeah, it's got antlers. Yeah. It's got antlers. Where are the binoculars? We've got to see how many. And and so it's fun to watch that excitement. We have a group of turkeys that live by our house, and I think I posted a video a little while ago of all the poults, and it was 2 hens and all these poults, and it was just exciting to see new life, and we've been watching them grow. So every time we drive by and they're out, it's like, look, they've grown more, or look, they're still all together and they're kind of very juvenile looking now, getting their feathers in and all of that. But it's amazing to see them notice more, or for them to say, okay, it's getting dark. Let's watch out for deer. And it's, I think that it's not just with our kids, it's taking anybody alongside of you. And my husband has said constantly, the first time I texted him and said deer down, that I don't know how fast he jumped in his truck. And because I solo hunted my whole until the goose hunt, my husband and I have never hunted together. And so he jumped in that truck so fast, and he said, I have never felt such a sense of pride and excitement for anybody like that. And then it happened again when my son got his deer this year. Yes. And there's something about, it's a different excitement when it's for somebody else, and you're seeing the connection, and you're seeing all of the, your brain is just on all cylinders firing. And when you're seeing that happen to somebody else, it, like you said with Chris, it ignites your passion to do the same thing. And I think that's why I hunted more this year than any other time. First of all, because it was my first year hunting public land, and that is a whole different beast in itself.
I can imagine.
But then taking the kids and having more opportunity even to get out because of COVID, it has been a great season. Yeah.
I agree. Same for us. It's really been a great season.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
what have you got going on this coming season? Alabama doesn't open up deer until October, right?
yes, October the 15th
Right.
is first day of bow season.
And you guys go
and so-
further than us. You go into February, right?
February.
Right.
Yes. So, October, I will start bow hunting.
Yes.
And that's like, hunting is now like, if you're going to know where I'm at,
Yes.
I'm going to be in the woods.
Yes.
Every chance I get. My dog Alexis did crossbow hunt, but Isabella, she doesn't bow hunt. So,
Okay.
she'll, so she will like wait until, rifle season to start hunting, but yeah, so we're going to be deer hunting. And then actually I'm going, on October the 24th, I'm going for my first bear archery hunt.
Oh my goodness.
In Kentucky. Yes, in Kentucky. So, so I'm excited about that.
Yes.
I really have never even thought about I've thought about bear hunting, but never, I was just like, okay, well, maybe. And then this opportunity came. And, so, yep, I'm going to do that in the end of October. And then I'm going to be, I've got some hunts booked. I got Missouri deer hunt booked. And then I'm going on, the upland hunt,
right,
and duck hunting again. And then I'm hoping and planning that I'm planning to go back to Africa in June.
Wow.
To finish my my spring buck slam.
Awesome.
So that's kind of that's what I'm hoping and planning for. So
you've got a big year planned.
Yeah.
It's great.
I do.
It's great. It's great to be able to spread things out. I know that we've got, the velvet hunt in Tennessee is this weekend, but it's bow and private land only. So it's pretty specific on what, who all can participate in that. But that's this weekend. And then we open up deer season at the end of September. And I know that I put in for elk and did not get it, and that's okay.
Oh, no.
Tennessee just started, 11 years ago, I think, was the first draw for elk in Tennessee. And so it's fairly new, and I'm excited that maybe one day that will happen. But we apply next week for sandhill crane.
Oh, I've heard great things about that.
Yes. So they used to have it where there were two draws, and one was an in-person where you go and you apply and you got a certain number of tags. And then they had an online one. And of course, this year it's just straight online. But if you get the draw, you get 2 tags. And so you could bring home 2 sandhill crane. And so my fingers my fingers are crossed and my prayers are going out that
you get that draw.
Yes, because it'll be a lot of fun to be able to bring that home, and that'll be an exciting hunt.
That is awesome.
I know. I'm hoping.
Now that's now Alabama started that last season.
Okay.
Opened up for sandhill crane, but you have, there's regulations.
Oh, yeah.
I think, so I think there's like a drop, you have to put in for a tag and that kind of thing. I've not looked into it, but I've heard that that's really fun.
Oh,
and, and you mentioned elk. Elk is my dream hunt. Mm-hmm. Elk has been, when I started, first getting real, into hunting, I was like, I want to do it. I want to hunt elk. That's been my dream hunt.
Yeah. I know that Tennessee does a raffle every year. Not a raffle. It's kind of a raffle where you can buy a certain number of tickets to go in for different hunts, and an elk hunt is one of them. But you do not have to be a Tennessee resident to be a part of that. So put that on your docket maybe. I know that getting
Kentucky is the same way.
Yes, it is 100% the same way. So I know that, my dream hunt would be to go over to Colorado and do an elk hunt. But sometimes, if I got lucky and got drawn for a Tennessee elk, do you think I'd turn it down? Heck no.
Heck no. Right. Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, that would be.
No way I'd turn that down. So it's, it could be something exciting, but Sandhill Crane is on my docket. Hopefully going back duck hunting, we have a great lake in West Tennessee that I'm hoping to get back over to this year. And then of course we want to do the snow goose conservation hunt. And we were in Missouri for that. That was, the geese had already flown through Mississippi and Arkansas, and we were catching them at the first part of Missouri. So you'll have to keep your ears open for that. I highly suggest it. It's fun.
Now, where are you going to do the Sandhill Crane hunt?
Sandhill Crane is in Tennessee. We've got a couple of friends who know of a couple places that would be good if we draw tags. So hopefully that will come to fruition. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, hopefully, that would be awesome.
There are a couple people who have never heard. I mean, they've heard of Sandhill Crane, but they don't know that it's labeled the ribeye of the sky. That it's delicious meat.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to keep you posted. But we had it 2 years ago. A friend brought it over for a dinner that we had, and Kim, it is delicious. It is really, really good. Yes, it's very good.
Well, I mean, yes, I have heard. And when you said Sandhill Crane, that's what I think, the ribeye of the sky.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard it called.
It should be fun. It should be fun. Hopefully, our fingers are crossed that everything comes together. But yeah,
hopefully it will.
Yes,
hopefully it will.
Okay, now you're writing for Miss Pursuit. Have there been a couple things out yet that people can look for how your involvement in the contributor for Miss Pursuit is?
Yeah, so I have, and I'm excited. That's really like an honor to be a part of. So since I homeschool Isabella, I did an article, a write up on gardening. And because it was actually started as a homeschool project, and we planted tomatoes and cucumbers and from seeds, and then we have just reaped the harvest this year.
Good.
And so that was an article I wrote about that. I've got some more coming out for the fall.
Good.
And traveling, that's a big, because I love to travel. That's one of my passions. And so there was another I wrote about traveling, and traveling as a solo by yourself.
Right.
So
there should be some good
Miss Pursuit.
Yeah, that should be some good information, especially coming through into traveling for hunting and traveling as a solo hunter. How do you do that? How that'll be a good one to read.
Yeah. And it's like we was talking about earlier, when you get connected with somebody that's already done it, and then it makes your work a lot less of a headache.
Yes.
And it makes it easier. And so, because I had one of those, like, just either learn the hard way or just kind of figure it out as you go.
Yes.
And so, so hopefully that will help, help some people with some information. And, those are on the Miss Pursuit website. So
awesome. Tell people how they can follow you. I know on Instagram, you're Kim_M.Bryant. So I know they can follow you there. And then where else can they follow you?
I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
And it's Kim Bryant on Facebook as well. And then those are my two major social media platforms.
Yeah, and if people want to contact you for the Wildlife Women of Alabama, they can connect to you there, and you can get them involved that way.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And wildlife, yes, on the Wildlife Women webpage. Yeah.
Perfect.
And it's just Wildlife Women. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kim. I appreciate your time big time. And I can't wait to hear how that bear hunt goes. I'm very excited to follow you on that.
Well, I will definitely keep you posted. And thank you for having me. I have enjoyed it.
Good. I'm glad.